we are.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, so many people are already here.
I know. Lots of people in the chat, Mel. I was looking at that myself. We've got Lori who's driving. She says we're in her ear.
Is she driving or is she riding? I think she's riding. It doesn't matter. I'm being technical.
Oh, I don't know. She just is still on the road. So I guess I inferred. Ellen is here. She says, so sorry, going to have to catch the replay. You need to keep Evelyn informed about Christmas in July fairies, and I'll catch you on the flip side. So,
oh, yes, that's right. Christmas.
Definitely.
yeah.
And I would just like everybody to know that Ellen is the one responsible for us even knowing Evelyn. So, yeah. She started talking about her in the Affordably Geeky Live a few weeks ago. And then, of course, Kim was right on that. And she was just like, oh, well, I'm just going to go get Evelyn and see who she wants to be on.
Yeah, I got an Instagram message from Ellen saying they're talking about you on this live stream right now. And I actually ended up going to an old video, not the live stream. And I was like, I don't think they're talking about me. I don't see anything. I think this is old. And then finally made it to the live stream that was actually happening.
Yeah.
And said hi.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So thank you, Ellen.
Good job, Ellen. Way to go.
Yay.
Let's see.
So Gina's here. She says hello. And Wanda's here. Good evening, Wanda. Nancy Ziba says, I've got him in my ear too, Lori. Lita is actually early for once. Good job, Lita. You got a good seat. Way to go. Is it Biba or Biba Designs? B-I-B-A. What do you think? Biba?
Biba. That's cute.
Pretty. It says, hey, yeah, everybody. Cheryl's here. Nancy's here. Oh, my thing jumped.
Oops. Samantha and Proverbs 31. You'll have to remind me of your name, please. And Mandy, Angela.
Here. Vicky, Tia, Tony. Is it Tony? Did we discuss that last week? Vicky's last name. I think it was Tony.
Yes, it's Tony. Yes.
Yeah.
She sent me I think because she won 2 things in a row, and she sent me in the first email how to pronounce her name. Totally missed it. Still struggled with it. And then in the second email I saw it. I'm like, oh, whoops.
There we go. So we've got Cheryl, Kim, Sherry, Samantha, Bev. Yeah. Oh, and Proverbs' name is Jeannie. So welcome, Jeannie. Good to see you.
Jeannie.
I keep trying to adjust my kerchief to cover my grays.
Julie, you look beautiful.
They don't need to be covered. Loud and proud.
When you have hair this dark, man, those grays, they're just shine. But I had a friend who said, it's your halo.
Exactly. I love that. It's your halo.
It's my halo. I don't know.
I love your halo.
Thank you. Halo.
Yeah.
I've had a patch of gray back here somewhere where I can't actually see it, but all the hairdressers always find it, and I've had it since high school.
Oh,
but it's
really?
back there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Did you injure yourself there when you were a kid or something?
I don't think so. I mean, if I did, my parents didn't tell me.
Because I know that sometimes, if you injure it,
give it up.
Yeah.
They're like, we are not telling her we dropped her on her head.
Yeah.
We're not telling her.
Anthony has a little spot in the back of his head that is like yellow, bright white yellow. It's not gray. It's just like the blonde that he was when he was a toddler, and it's just stayed that color.
Oh, yeah?
Everything else has gotten darker.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Gina says gray hair is wisdom halo. I'll take it.
Yes, wisdom halo. I love it.
Oh, that's why I haven't gotten very much yet.
And
yeah, I'm lacking a lot.
You're just lucky. How about you, Mel? Do you have grays?
No.
I was gonna say I've never seen a gray hair.
It's in my genes that I probably will not be going seriously gray until I'd say late 50s, early 60s.
Oh, you're so lucky. It was in my genes to go when I was like 30.
Yeah, my aunt went when she was in her teens. She was going gray in her teens, but my mom is just now seriously going gray, and she's 66.
I mean, I have a lot more now than I guess I thought I would. No. But at least you really can't tell as much unless I'm like super close.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't
It's
tell
more
at all.
lighter. Mm-hmm.
That's the
Cheryl-
best of the lighter hair. I think whenever I'm going to be like Julie, whenever I go, it's you're going to see each strand running through my hair.
Yeah. Cheryl says, who is the new person?
Oh, hey everybody. Okay, so I guess we
I
should
guess we should
introduce
come back.
Yes, we
Evelyn. We've been
should,
talking
yeah.
for so long. So everyone in the replay, everybody in the chat, this is
Hello.
Evelyn from Pink Sheep Design.
Hi.
She's
And
a
a lot of you will probably remember her from a couple weeks back on Affordably Geeky, but for those of you who haven't, Evelyn is an amazing crochet designer, hook maker, the bulky yarn. Go look at her Instagram feed. It is absolutely amazing. Super cool. Everything. We're going to be going over, in case I've forgotten anything right now, we're going to be going over all that in the show.
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah, it's going to
I
be a
have
fun
to
show.
answer a question really quick for Jamie. It was David.
David won your drawing this morning?
Yeah, he won my drawing this morning. And
Was
he
it
actually won
buttons?
the first drawing. The first time I did that drawing, he won it.
Was it buttons?
Oh, it's always like buttons of some sort, but he picked this one.
Oh,
big
cute.
button. So he picked the big button. I have Evelyn. I have a live every Saturday morning, and I do a drawing at the end of it, a live drawing at the end of it, and yeah. So I send a little thing off to somebody who was joining me for my live chat and keeping me company.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's why I was answering that question. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Go ahead.
No,
No,
that's
good.
okay. Hi, Lisa. I'm glad you finally made it live too. It's happy to see you.
It's a great one to make. You get to meet. I'm going the wrong way. Evelyn.
I know everything's backward.
I'm never going to get used to it, I don't think.
I know. Let's see. You got to point that way. If the up
Wait, let's touch fingers, Jen. Can we touch
Or in the
fingers?
corner.
Yeah.
There we
If
go.
everybody's in the center.
My hand's disappearing. Let go. All right, that's
All right.
it. We're dorky
that's-
enough. We don't
we're
need to
done.
enhance our dorkiness anymore.
I love enhanced dorkiness.
Well, then you're gonna do great
We gotta
here.
own
I
it.
will start talking about Star Wars and other stuff.
Don't get me going.
You
Don't get me
really want me
going.
to.
Harry Potter.
Yes,
Mhm.
Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's really fun to do is when
Talk about
when you're in Universal Studios down in like Florida and you go into the Harry Potter world and it is amazing. It really is amazing. And then you walk around and pretend you don't know who Harry Potter is. We got on the train, you know, the train, I don't know what it's called, but we got on this train and there were people like really, really big fans. And I like Harry Potter too. I'm not dissing the fans. But we got on there and I go, now who is Henry Potter again? Is he from a movie? And my husband's like, yeah, is it Henry or Harry or Harvey? What's his name? And it was so funny. And people were looking like daggers at us. It was hysterical. I can't believe we got out of there alive. We were just kidding.
Yeah. They were probably like, you
Awesome.
Hilarious.
you
suck.
don't deserve to be on this train.
You get the heck out of here. You suck. It was funny. Who's Henry? Henry Potter.
Who's Harry?
No, it's Henry. Right? Henry. Yeah. I encourage you to try it. It's funny.
Yeah, you've got one of the ones who grew up on the books.
I love the books. Actually,
Yeah.
after we left there, the night after we left there, I downloaded the first book and then I read right through because I loved them.
Yeah,
They're
I would
amazing.
I would stay up all night after the day of the release and read it with my flashlight after my bedtime.
Oh wow.
And it was one of those. I don't think I ever waited in line, but I think they got like pre-ordered. I think we would pre-order the book.
Yeah. I can understand it. They're really good.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to get my son interested, but he's like, it's reading. It requires effort.
Oh, no, my daughter read those when she started reading them at about 6. So, yeah, she's always been an excellent reader. Not an excellent person to do the work at school, but an excellent reader.
Yeah. I could read really when I was really young, and I used to get into my mom's books, and I was reading The Thorn Birds. And she goes, that is not an appropriate book for an 11-year-old. Give me that. She took the book away. Probably wasn't really an appropriate book.
My parents had a Diane Arbus coffee table book that do you know Diane Arbus?
No.
The photographer, really weird, like nudist colony pictures and just really weird pictures of people.
Yeah.
And so I would look at that. And then, of course, my dad's High Times magazines. And
I'm not surprised at all.
And psychosomatics and a whole bunch of really weird books. We have nothing to do in Arkansas.
Jamie, it's probably a microphone.
Or it could be my cat was walking past and got up to his bowl and there was some clinking. I have collars for my kitty, so it could have been that too. I really quick, Lori said, do I look for the naked hook on Etsy under a pink sheep design? I would go down below, and Ginger has some links in the description. There will also be some links in the slides whenever we post it up on Facebook, but there are links down below in the description, so you are welcome to go check it out. And I think there are some links to that the naked hook, the design, the DIY hook. I think it's what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's under the DIY challenge.
And the listing for that one on Etsy actually says DIY hook challenge, so you'll know you're in the right place. All of our other hooks just have photos of the hooks. So I tried to make it a little more obvious on that one to help.
I can only imagine how ridiculous my hook would look. I am so not artistic.
We're so excited. I mean, some of the things that people have told us that they're thinking about using, it's like, we didn't even think of that. So we're really excited to see what people come up with, What's
the craziest thing you've heard of so far?
Someone shared with me that they're actually crocheting items to like dress their hook up. So like they're adding to their hook with crocheted pieces.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, which I didn't even think about. Yeah. It just, really, really going all out to decorate it.
That.
Yeah. Cause it does not have to be functional. That's what we made that very clear, that you can, if you want to, you can make it, allow it to be functional. And then we even offered the option to add a resin coating. So when you get finished decorating your hook, you can ship it back to us and we'll coat it with resin like we do with all of our other hooks. And then we would cover the shipping back to you. But, you don't have to. You could, cover it with, Mod Podge pictures or like, I don't know, you could do whatever you wanted. So we're excited.
That is hysterical. I love it. Jamie needs to stop chewing so loud for Melanie to hear. We know how that upsets Melanie.
Well, she started doing that. It's a passive aggressive thing. We talked about that this morning. My phone was ringing. So every time that my phone rings, I don't pick up my phone because anybody calls that phone, they don't know me. So it's usually the school or somebody like a spam call. But anyway, it drives Jamie nuts because she always picks up the phone. So
yes.
Yeah, she's being a little passive aggressive with me, and that's okay.
Yes. All right. Awesome. So what do we want to do, Ginge? What's our plan here?
Should we start the slideshow? We're about 16 minutes in, so
I'm happy with that.
I think we can start.
Sure. No one else will be chatting through each slide, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's going to take a full maybe 2 or 3 minutes for me to figure this out. So
you're getting better every week.
I am. It's amazing. Okay. So right here, I've got to share.
She always talks it through. She's so
screen. I'm such an old fart.
You are not.
Sorry. Let's see. Share screen. And then I'm going to go to the Chrome tab.
She does this every time, Evelyn, I swear.
I love it. Love it.
So Evelyn, I had a video up last week, and I was talking about how you were going to be coming on to Yarn Hookers, and I was so excited. But I couldn't remember if your name was Evelyn or Esther. Because
they're both old people names.
I grew up on Esther Avenue, and Esther Avenue. I lived on the corner of Esther Avenue and Evelyn Place. So I was like, wait, which
That's
one
funny.
was it? I know it's one of the streets. Which street was it? It was so funny.
Oh,
So,
thank you, Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Thank you so much.
My best friend growing up, her name was Blythe, and so we were Evelyn and Blythe, little girls with old women names.
I love that.
So cute.
Evelyn and Blythe. There could be a book written like with that.
Right?
It sounds like a nom de gore, you know, like
Yes,
you just write a name. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
So
Got it up. This is, I think, record time for getting the slides up for Yarn Geek.
Well, it was pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome.
You're getting better with all the practice. You're doing great, Ginge. We're proud of you.
Well,
I like the photo you guys chose too. That one cracked me up.
It was a tough one. I wanted to either this picture of you or the one where you're doing the back bend stretching. I love that one.
You take some great photos on your Instagram.
Yes. You made it easy for us to pick one.
Definitely.
I suppose you take good photos for everything, not just your Instagram, but still, they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I love these.
I just picked out a couple of things that were my favorites. It's been a really busy month for me a couple months for me at work. And so I didn't get a chance to dive as deep as I wanted to into all of your stuff, but I loved these. I thought they were great. I don't know. I love the whole idea behind them, having your worry cats in your pocket.
Yeah.
Cute.
And I didn't know if, so the blog post that went along with these, because this is a free pattern on my blog. There's the PDF version, but there's a free pattern on my blog. And I actually created these because one of my friends at work lost her cat. And I really wanted to get something for her. I wanted to do something, but, you know, I didn't want to spend $30 on a necklace or, you know, I mean, there's a lot of like little grieving things for people for their animals or like art. I didn't really want to get a card. There were some cute cards, but I know cards usually get tossed. And so I was like, well, can I crochet or something? You know, and I had actually made some of my coffee cozies and beer cozies that kind of looked like people's cats when they've lost their cats. But I really thought back to like the little worry dolls, you know, that you get. And
that's exactly what I pictured when I saw these.
And it's more of like a little token. And these are actually, I made little going away presents for my little marketing team when I left. And these are what I gave them. So I gave them all little, because they knew I crocheted. And so I wrote a little note and I enclosed a little worry cat in there with everybody's little note before I left my job.
Yeah, I just
so they're just versatile and fun and simple.
Yeah, they're just cute. Sweet, and it's just kind of like I can just picture like pulling it out and going, oh yeah, she thought of me. You know what I mean? It's just a sweet gesture. I just really liked it. So
yeah, that's cute. And the pattern is free on your blog.
Okay. Which I think her blog's linked down below, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, and I have a new website called therealpinksheepdesign.com. I finally paid for my domain name. And so that's up, and there's a free pattern link. The problem is it's not finished yet. So there's only a few free patterns that are actually linked to their blog, but there's a blog link on that, on the therealpinksheepdesign.com, and you can search worry cat. And it should come up in the blog. Yeah.
And honestly, when to find your blog, all I did was I just Googled you and it came up.
Okay.
So,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty easy to find you. So the hooks, I know that you're doing the make it yourself one, but I have to say that colors that you have already are just amazing. I love them.
They are beautiful.
Anybody who watches Whippy Chick knows there's such a thing as Whippy Chick colors, and Evelyn stuff is, am I kidding, guys? The epitome of Whippy Chick colors, right?
And the little sparkles.
Oh, I know. I just love it. My favorite color is glitter. I just love everything on all of your hooks. They're all just so pretty. So,
well, and I know my goal with the colors was definitely being on brand and going, because I love colorful things. And so I knew that when we started kind of making plans for buying filament and stuff like that, I wanted it to be the bright colors. And we are going to branch out. Like we had a custom order for black hooks with pink glitter. So things like that where it wasn't specifically on brand.
Pretty.
But I think we can branch out because I'll have my base colors that, you know, I really push and always have available, but we love doing custom orders for other things that maybe I wouldn't have chosen myself.
Oh, how about neon green with that cute little yellow chick coming out of an egg?
I'll show you.
That's what
I want. I want a green one with a chick coming out of an egg.
Oh, she just got some neon, like the filament. That's awesome.
Look at that.
Yep.
Look at that.
So like an apple.
You're a little chick coming out of the egg.
Perfect.
Yeah, so can I send you a decal and you can put it on there? Oh, maybe I will.
And the ends of the hooks, they have the little hole in them, and that's actually, we put them on a little rack to resin coat them, but like you could stick a little decal in there, you know, could like stick in the little thing and sit right there.
So cool. They're so cool.
Options.
I love them. So one of my questions for you, Evelyn, was, have you always been, like, since you were a kid, like just a color lover? Like when you were a kid, was everything like bright colors?
Did you like the Lisa Frank backpacks?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I wasn't like obsessed with
Brewster.
Lisa Frank. I liked them. I think some of it was my parents. It's interesting. My mom was super thrifty. So anything that was on trend or, you know, that everyone else had, I usually wasn't allowed to have it because even though my mom was like, yeah, we can afford it, but you don't need it. So it was like, we're going to go to the thrift store and we're going to buy you an entire wardrobe for the next year with $100, you know?
I love that.
And so
you wouldn't have when you were 10, though.
No, I wouldn't have.
Well, and I did enjoy it because I got to leave with a whole bunch of stuff. But if you look at any of the pictures, and I need to do this, I keep meaning to share a couple of photos from when I was little. But anytime, you can tell when I decided to dress myself, because there are photos of me that, like, it's like this weird, I don't know, Lion King print top with like crazy geometric shorts and like a bright pink hat. So yes, I didn't really care about
You're a Punky Brewster.
Yeah. I didn't really care about things matching or going together or, and that's kind of helped me. I kind of own it because even now color matching and color blocking, it doesn't come naturally to me. I have to really try and I have to really experiment because it's hard for me to see things and know if they're going to look good together. So I just wing it. But I think because I've just owned that and just do it anyway, that it, you know, it kind of works itself out.
Gotcha.
I don't think I'm alone in saying keep winging it because you're winging it really
you're doing a pretty darn good job.
Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, and anyway, I said to the ladies earlier, I just think that the hooks look like fish, but that might be just me, but I think they look like really colorful, bright fish.
Especially with like the blue and the greens, you know,
the rainbow fish.
Yeah, the rainbow
Yes,
fish.
Exactly.
Love them.
I love it.
Love it. So, and okay, so the girls got some mad photography skills here. Am I right? I mean,
yeah.
What's the story behind this picture? Because I saw this one too. I love this. I'm sorry.
So, yes.
Where'd you get your models? They look like they're having so much fun.
So this is a whole kind of story in itself, and I'll try to make it kind of brief. I have a couple of blogs about what I was doing, but I started, my love for photography started when I was little. My mom passed away when I was 10. Oh. And when I first saw my birth certificate, it had her job listed as a photographer. And I never realized that. And so like, then it became like an obsession that I wanted to be a photographer. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather got me my first SLR camera film. It was a Canon Rebel, a 35 millimeter camera.
I had that camera.
And when he bought it for me, my parents didn't feel like I was responsible adult enough to have it. And so they stuck it up in a closet until I was like in high school. But then they gave it to me and I actually started photographing my friends whose parents couldn't afford to do senior photos and like doing all of these fun projects with my friends, and realized how much I loved portraits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So after my husband and I got married, he knew how much I wanted to do photography. And so he pushed me to pursue that. And I bought my first digital camera on eBay, stuck with Canon, and photographed my first wedding about the year after we got married, which actually it was his sister's wedding. So no pressure.
You're only going to see those for the rest of your life.
And from there, kind of dabbled. It never was like a full-time gig, but it was always there. It was always in the background. Every couple of years, I would upgrade the camera. Usually it was a Christmas present. I would get a new camera. And it wasn't until 2017 or 18 maybe that I left my full-time job, broken record, to start freelancing. And the freelancing at that time was actually, I wanted to focus on my photography again, and I wanted to do crochet. And so I was going to about 10 to 12 shows a year for my crochet during the fall and winter months. And then during the spring and summer, I focused on a niche of photography, which was now growing, which was social media photography. So I would reach out to local makers and artists, and I would spend about 2 to 3 hours with them in their home studio, taking up to 200 photos for them that they could then use on all their marketing materials and on social media posts, photos of them working, photos of their process, their space, their materials, like all of the things that we create day to day, trying to think of what to post. And then they have like this stock of, their own personal stock photography.
Almost a year's worth of photos.
Yes, exactly. And so these photos came about because, if you go to shows, you have to have really good photos of your work. And I'm the type of person who I don't like to buy things or present things unless I can see them on another person. So I knew that I wanted to use models. At the time, I think all of you guys know how hard it is to take photos of yourself, no matter what it is you're doing. And so for these photos, because I'm in Atlanta,
good photos. It's hard to take good photos of yourself.
But because I'm in Atlanta, there's a huge, plethora of artists and models and photographers. And so there are a lot of Facebook groups dedicated to photographers and models in Atlanta. Oh. And so I joined these Facebook groups and I did a call for models. And I said, I'm a photographer. I also own my own business doing the crochet items. So I would like to do a trade-off. If you guys come and model for me in my items, then I will also do headshots for each of you, and you'll have access to all of these photos as part of your portfolio to build, because the models, they need to show themselves, in different styles, wearing different things. A lot of the photographers in Atlanta go with like sexy and high fashion and things like that. And so I was kind of the perfect portfolio builder because I wanted something totally different.
You're rounding it out.
Yes. And so when I did the call for models, I said, no model faces. You have to be willing to be happy and smiling and laughing. You have to be able to kind of laugh on cue, because my brand is all about happiness and joy and positivity and friendship and community. And this was probably the third group photo shoot that I had done. I was doing about 2 a year. And this group, 2 of them were returners. They had modeled for me before, and the other 2 were new. I think maybe 2 of them knew each other. And it was magic when you get them together. You get them, they get to meet each other, they meet new friends, they connect with each other, they're following each other on Instagram, they're saying, let's get coffee later. And you just have fun. They get to try on your stuff and you get to take pictures. And when
I saw these pictures, I thought, oh, those must be friends of hers. That's so cool that they're so good at that. I mean, they really give off that vibe. So well done.
And these really were such a great, like when I see these photos up against the photos they already had in their portfolio, it really rounded them out. A lot of them, it showed almost the acting ability, because it was like 2 separate people in their photos. So it was really cool. And I would love to do it again. I mean, I think this was really fun. And also, right now, this time and age, we're all trying to showcase diversity and inclusion. And so for me, doing these photography group photo shoots and just doing this open call of like anyone who wants to come, and it opens up the people that can come in. It's not just my friends. It's not just my family. It's anyone who's interested in coming in, and it's really showcasing the diversity of the city that I live in. It's connecting artists that are in my local area and growing their community. So on so many levels, it was a fantastic experience. And a lot of them still keep in touch with me. So
that's really neat.
That's awesome. I knew that there was something behind those photographers.
Oh, yeah.
Those photos. Because I was like, she's really good at her picture taking.
And such a great way to get models. I mean,
I never would have thought of that. But then again, photography has never been my focus. So that's Brilliant.
Photography has never been her focus.
Well, and for me,
I love the pun. That was so funny.
I didn't mean the pun. And Evelyn, I am not too far from you. I didn't realize you were in Atlanta. I live in well, I guess everybody knows it's in my thing, but I live in Franklin, North Carolina.
Okay, yeah.
I'm down the mountain. I just go down the mountain.
Yep. Well, and I'll tell you guys too, the game changer for me going from taking pictures of other people, because if you go far enough back in my feed, I'm not on there. Like my face is nowhere to be found. It's other people. It was my models. It was, there might be maybe one photo of me at a show, where I'm behind my booth, but, and a lot of that is because it is so difficult to photograph yourself, even if you're a photographer.
It is.
And the biggest game changer for me was when I upgraded my gear this last time. I went from, it was a Canon T5i, I think, to the mirrorless Canon system, the RP. I think I have the RP. And it had Bluetooth capability. So for the first time ever, I was able to Bluetooth to my phone, and then I can set the camera up, and then my phone, I'm looking at my phone.
That's why
you're
holding your phone. I got it.
In some of them, yes.
Yeah. And I was like, I wonder who's taking her pictures, because she's holding her phone.
Yep. And it makes those ones are super easy, since I have my phone in the picture. But that seriously changed the game.
You can do that with a GoPro.
For me. Mm-hmm. So that's been really helpful, and I will.
Ginger and I are thinking now. We're like, hey, we could do that with GoPros.
Yep.
Such a great idea.
Yep. So that really helped me, and I usually will batch my pictures. So I'll spend an hour or two taking a whole bunch of them, and then I'll just save them like in my Lightroom app and edit them for when I need them. So it has saved a lot of time and headache trying to take pictures of myself.
And it helps add to the whole cohesiveness of your feed too.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
Does. Awesome.
Okay. We are at the DIY hook challenge.
Woo!
So for everybody who does not know what it is, I mean, I think we talked a little bit about it before, but for everybody in the replay and everybody who might have missed it, can you explain the challenge to us one more time?
Yes, of course. And I have a feeling, so I think the link is in the bio where you can get more info, and there's actually a couple of updates, videos, and things so you can watch and read all about it. But the long story short is we decided we make these hooks. We make hooks all the way from size 10 to 25 right now, millimeter. And we decided that for a while now, we've wanted to sell a plain white hook that people could just decorate themselves, but we weren't really sure how to market it. And so we also are really trying to push community and get people involved and excited about things and just have some fun. We haven't really done any kind of challenge. And so we decided to try this hook challenge where we are creating plain white 18 millimeter hooks. That gives you a little bit more space to decorate versus, like a 16 or smaller, but it's not as big as a 25 because those take up a lot of filament. So this is kind of that good middle ground. And we send you a plain white hook. They are sanded, but they are not coated. So usually when we make our hooks, we print them on the printer. We remove the supports that it creates to print the actual hook. And then Captain Hook takes time to hand sand every single hook. And then we wash them and then we resin coat them. So we're sanding these. So technically you can use them. They're not going to be as easy to glide through your yarn as the resin coated hooks would, but they are technically functional hooks that we send you. And you can decorate them however you like. So you can use paints, you can Mod Podge, you can use Sharpies, watercolors. We have said that it might be easier to use a primer coat first, since there are layer lines in the plastic in the hooks. To help keep things from bleeding. But you do not have to keep the hooks functional. You can decorate them however you want. You can bedazzle them with jewels, whatever you want to do, the sky's the limit. So the way to enter the challenge is just purchasing the hook. And actually the cutoff date is tomorrow. So you have one more day to purchase the hooks. They're $15. Yes. They're the captain's back here listening, but they are $15 shipped. So that includes the shipping. And we will have them all shipped out by July 1st, I think is what we said. And then you have until the end of August, I think is what we said. So you have like a full month since is it end of July? End of July. See, I'm not even sure now at this point. It's on my website. We tried to give a full month to be able to decorate them. And then the last thing that you have to do to enter for the actual challenge is submit a photo. So submitting the photo means either posting it on Instagram and tagging Pink Sheep Design and Will Print for Credits, which is my husband's Instagram account. And then you just need to use the hashtag DIY Hook Challenge hashtag. If you do not have Instagram, we are going to be sending out an email once the deadline to buy the hooks close, and we're going to create a Google form where you're going to be able to submit your image that way. So just make sure that if you are purchasing through Etsy that you have a usable email address, because that's where we're going to get your email from to send you the email. You'll submit your final photo, and then we will be judging for the most creative. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what the parameters are going to be. I'm thinking like from the office, or not from the office, Parks and Rec, Leslie Knope had the big long thing for the pageant where she had all the different areas that she was going to judge on. So we're really looking for things like maybe we didn't even think about what you're using to decorate it, and obviously the intricacy and the time you put into it and things like that. So but the winner of the challenge is going to get a custom set of 3D printed hooks from us. So we'll get to work with you to choose your color, filament, and the type of coating that you want. And you'll get to choose your sizes from 10 millimeter to 25 millimeter. You know, you can choose which sizes you want within that range. But we just thought it would be so much fun.
I've got to order mine tonight.
Oh,
and I'll show you guys. I have so this is actually a 16 millimeter hook, but it was one of the first white ones that we made. And I'm just putting little flowers, but I just wanted to try it myself. But these are just with Sharpies. So yeah, working on mine.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Now I'm like sitting here thinking of all these different ideas and I'm distracting myself.
Right.
It's such a fun contest. I mean, it really is.
It
is.
It's
such a great prize.
Well, and we feel like it could be annual. That's something we're thinking about now is what if we do it annually and every year it's a different size hook. So like next year it could be a 20 millimeter. The next year it could be a 25 millimeter. And people could start building up their little own special, collection of these hook challenges.
Personalized collection. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. And that's the best thing about fun ideas like that is they just snowball, right? Love it.
Yeah.
And also for everybody who is on YouTube all the time and loves to watch, Evelyn has a YouTube channel and
getting there.
No, you've already got lots of videos on there. And I believe there's a link in the description. There's also a link somewhere on the slides too, to your channel. And there are 2 apps. I don't know if you put a third one up yet, but kind of progress on the DIY challenge. And if you guys have never seen a 3D printer in action, you get to see it. And it is so cool. You guys got to go check that out.
Yeah, we have 3 printers now that are 3. We started off with 1. We have 3, and we're already talking about a 4th. So
yeah, my son just finished taking CAD, computer assisted design, I think it is. Yeah, and they did a little 3D printing, and it is really cool.
Yeah,
love it.
It's very cool. I would have never thought I would see the day.
Yeah, I just wanted to welcome a couple more people that came in. Ginger, your mom is here.
Hi,
Mom.
And I think I said Granny D, Linda, Angela, Cheryl. Hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Crafty Chats Cafe is in here. Whisper. I learn these people's names and then I forget them again, so I apologize. But just wanted to say hi to everybody.
And there is a question from Bev. She was asking in regards to your photo. I wrote it down. Do you still commission like photos of artists' work in studios?
Yes. So actually, I announced last week that I am opening my books back up right now for July. Because I left my full-time job, now I can start doing more of that. And I have, I think, 3 sessions that have been booked already for some of my local Atlanta artists. Some of them, a lot of them, it's usually me coming back. I'll have people who will bring me into their studios about once a year, if not more, to photograph new products and to photograph new processes and things that they're doing differently. And I also consult on social media. So, for instance, I have one client who it's a mix of both. So every couple of months, I come in and I photograph new products and I photograph them and I get them new headshots. And then I also meet with them monthly to plan out their social media feed. So we'll sit down on a Zoom call and I'll help them plan out their calendar, plan out their posts, help them with copy for their posts and for their emails. And so it's really kind of an all-in-one because I'll take the photos and then I'll help them use the photos. And it's fun for me.
Now, Bev is the person who asked. Her channel name is Dittmer Knittery, and she makes the most amazing felted hats and bags.
Yes.
And she just happens to live 50 miles from Atlanta. So
there you go.
Maybe Bev will be checking you out. And
sure.
Best way
she does amazing work.
Is it through like the DMs on Instagram?
Yes, and so you can send me a DM through Pink Sheep Design, or you can shoot me an email. Like my website has my contact info, and I think it's just my email address. But my photography page, which is quite a bit smaller than my Pink Sheep page, but I still keep it active as more of a portfolio of some of the other work that I do. But it is actually EGB Photography is my Instagram handle for my photography. And so there you can see more photos of other people and headshots and family photos and things like that.
Yeah. Well, Bev says she'll probably be in touch. So that's good. I love it. I love it when we make connections.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I think that's my favorite part about all of this.
I know.
Yeah.
I can remember on one of my first lives, I had maybe 10 people show up. And 2 of them were from South Africa, and they happened to live like 40 miles away from each other, never met each other, and then now they're friends. And it's just so
I love that.
fun. Isn't that cool? Like, I'm on my back porch in upstate New York, and these 2 people in South Africa like made this connection with each other, and I just think that's awesome.
I love it.
Sorry, I tend to go off on tangents.
No,
that's great.
Right?
We're all good at that.
We've got a lot of. I think this is my favorite picture of you.
This excited me because I love to do yoga. And I was like, look at this, maybe she does yoga.
And I thought that everybody needs to know about this. Every crocheter needs to know stretches and things to do, because it can be physically tolling on your back and arms and everything, but mostly my back, I've noticed.
For me, it's my neck.
Yeah.
And it's not just the crocheting. It's for me, it's the editing when I do editing on my phone too, or even on my laptop. It's just I had to go to the chiropractor a couple times last month to get those kinks worked out.
Yeah.
I was looking on your you have a video for it. And then I noticed your playlist. Doesn't it have like some other YouTube videos that are also good stretches and everything? Not by you, but by other.
It's actually it was a physical therapy channel that I found. So it's a much more reputable. It's 2 physical therapists, and they have a channel that's all about different stretches and things. And the background there is. I got in a really bad car wreck when I was 18, and it caused me to already have some issues in my neck. And ever since the car wreck, I would pop my neck for relief, and it would be like forcibly, taking my neck and cracking it anytime that it got tight. And, despite everyone telling me that I shouldn't do that, I did it anyway.
Mhm.
And it got worse and worse and worse as I started crocheting more. So when I was doing the 10 to 12 shows a year, staying up, marathoning for the next day at a show, trying to catch up with product. Anytime my neck would hurt, I would, go ahead and just crack it,
Mhm.
and it was my second or third year of doing shows, and it was the end of my last show, and I realized that my neck was hurting so bad that if I tried to turn it, one way, it would just be too painful. And so I decided I wanted to go to a chiropractor first because I didn't want to go to the doctor and then tell me to just take medicine.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if there was anything else that they could do. And after about 6 months going regularly to the chiropractor, I was back to feeling more like myself. I had full range of motion, but I found out that I now had arthritis in my neck at 31 years old.
Oh, God.
And they said it was 100% because of the forceful and
Cracking.
so often of cracking my neck because I created hypermobility in the joint. So just PSA for anyone out there, and I say it in my stretching video, if you are forcibly cracking your neck to relieve pain multiple times a day, that can happen. And so it's more about making sure that you're doing stretching and, easy stretching, like not forcibly stretching, but doing different things that can help relieve that, seeing a chiropractor if you want to, if that's something that you're interested in. But that has helped me tremendously with just managing that pain. And I'm at a point now where I don't sell finished product because I just can't crochet like I used to. I can't do it every single day as much as I want to. So for me, designing was the perfect route to go because not only am I crocheting less, I'm keeping more. So it's a little more fulfilling because I'm keeping items for myself. And I am much more thoughtful about the time that I spend crocheting. It's easier to say no to people because I just can't. But, the stretching definitely, it helps no matter where you're at in that journey. If you're perfectly fine and you can still crochet marathons and have no problem, it's still good to do that, to do that now so that as you continue to get older and continue to do what you need to do, it'll just be better then as well.
Those will already be worked and supple around that area. So
Well, I'm looking at the chat, and Bev says, when I do the stretches consistently, it helps so much. Thanks for the tips, Evelyn. Kiwi, hi, Elaine. She's from down under. Well, not down under. She's from New Zealand, but a little bit across the water. She said she just ordered her tote for the DIY challenge. Yay!
I see Etsy notifications in my bar.
That's so awesome.
I'm so excited.
The captain's not happy about it.
It's like so much work.
Yes. Yeah.
He's the one that shouted that, you got a time limit. So
I love it.
Yes. Well, and he's in all of the updates. So you can see the work that he puts in the updates, and he talks a lot about the process. So if any of you guys are interested in seeing who's behind the hard work, you can check out the update videos.
Yeah. Awesome.
So he even one of the things I really liked about it was he showed his tattoo.
Yes. He has a crochet tattoo, and I don't even have a crochet tattoo.
That was his.
That was actually in my questions. That was actually one of my questions was, are any of your tattoos crochet related?
And they're not. It's crazy.
But his are. That's so funny.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I don't have any that are crochet related right now. They're on the list because I have quite a long list for when I'm ready to start going and getting tattooed again. It's just hasn't happened yet. And it'll probably be one of my designs. Now that I have the stickers and apparel and all of that, I think that one of those will probably be what I get.
Cool.
Oh, that's neat.
Awesome.
So this is your latest pattern that you just released this week.
So cute.
And very appropriate for the summertime.
Yes. So
those are really cute.
Yeah, this pattern made me a lot of money. And that's actually why it did not get released until now. Because it was
you
one
were
of
making
those,
them. I see.
Yes. And there was nothing else like it. So I would always kind of keep an eye out on Etsy. And the main difference between this pattern and ones that are out there for like cat themed coasters and things like that were the ears. So the way that I got the ears so pointy was a technique that I had to play around with to get it right. And I had never seen it before, to create ears for, cats or animals. And I think in 1 year, I made over 300 of these and sold them at craft shows. And I continued to have to up my prices on them because I couldn't keep up with the demand at the craft shows and in some of our local stores, because they were such an easy item and a fun item and a novelty item that people really, really liked them. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to sell my pattern, for these.
Shooting yourself in the foot.
Yes. And so now that I don't sell finished products anymore, I figured it was time. And I knew that it was one that people had been asking about for a really long time. And so I decided, okay, it's time to finally write it up and share it with the world. And it's been really fun to finally put it out there and have a reason, because I didn't share photos of them anymore because I don't sell them, so there wasn't, I kind of was losing out on even getting to share pictures of them. And the nail in the coffin, actually, because I was going back and forth, should I write the pattern or not? I still had a few of these up in my Etsy shop that were kind of like, I'll make it on demand. And I had started letting them just kind of phase out. I was letting Etsy knock them off the list, and then I just didn't renew them. And I had someone order one, and it was not someone local. It was not a repeat buyer. It was a random person who found me on Etsy. And so I was like, I didn't even want to make it anymore. Like that, I don't really want to make this, but once it's done, obviously that listing's gone, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I made it and I shipped it out, and she gave me a 4-star review because the colors were not bright enough for what she thought they would be. And I was like, yeah, taking all of these off. This is going to a pattern. Someone else can deal with this.
Yeah.
And I'll sell the pattern. And so, so it just worked out, and they're fun. And I got to create my first like printable template to go with them. So people can buy the little inserts that say coffee cats. There you go. Because I know there's a lot of these out there that are printable templates, and I didn't want to like bite on anyone's style. But I always had ones that said coffee cats and like beer cats, and people loved that at shows. They would see it and be like, oh, coffee cats, that's so cute, So I figured it just kind of went with this whole idea of passing this on to the next group of people who wanted to sell these at shows or in stores or something like that.
Right.
I love it.
You should make one for a Kit Kat bar.
Yeah.
And you can have Kit Kat cats.
Right.
So Linda has said a couple times in the chat, remind him of the chocolate pizza. I don't know what that means, but you guys probably do.
Yeah, Linda keeps saying that she's going to get you a chocolate pizza, honey. He's laughing. He said that he takes bribes from people. So you can bribe him with your hook design if you send him snacks, is what he says in all of his update videos.
Here's a question from Vicky, and it's kind of interesting because I'm a pencil grip myself. But she says, how does the hook work for people that hold their hook pencil style? I know that when I'm using a really big hook, though, I can't use pencil style. I have to use the knife grip. So
it's interesting. Because we go down now to a 10 millimeter, and I'll actually show you. Let's see, I've got a 12 and a 14 right here. So this is one of my, what is this? This is a 12. So this is one of our 12 millimeters. And then this is the 14. And I actually have some pencil grip clients. I say clients, but people who bought multiple hooks of mine and do hold them pencil grip. And a lot of that is because it does have the ergonomic part of the handle. And so there is a space for you to hold that way. If that's how you hold your grip, it just goes into that ergonomic space back here.
Yeah. That's what Linda's saying. She says, I hold mine like a pencil and have no issues. So that's good. Good to know.
So I hope that it's good for everyone. And like you said, I think it gets to a point where it's so big that it's probably uncomfortable no matter what hook you have.
That's how it is for me.
But ours
once I get that big, it's
The good thing is ours are very, very light. These things are so light, it's kind of unbelievable for people who open them up and feel how light they are. And so I think that also helps with the pencil grip because, you know, you are holding it a very different way. And if it's heavy, that's going to cause some issues there.
Right.
So I think that the weight helps a lot with that.
Right.
Yeah, I made, when I got my 25 millimeter hook in the mail, I got one of the oopsies and I love it. It just like, I held it very loosely. I put 6 strands together and made this big bulky scarf, which I'm in love. If I can find it, I will show you later. If
Ginger says that at least once on every episode.
I do.
Well, and
if
I feel
can
like
find it, I will show you.
A lot of the larger hooks, I just feel like they're poorly designed, like the cheap large hooks. So when you're buying like those big old plastic hooks, or like the hook is weird, it'll be super blunt, you know, instead of having, and that's why for us, even our larger hooks, we really wanted that inline hook style. Even on the 25 millimeters. Can you grab me a 25 millimeter out of a box? I just wanted to show it to you guys, but
we're happy to see it.
He did bring me a broken hook so you guys can see the inside.
Here, I'll go grab.
Yeah, make her bigger.
There we go. Printed in 2 pieces. He said, sorry, he corrected me.
Those hooks don't break.
There you go. So it's like a gyroid infill. They're not completely solid, but they're not hollow either. And that's what helps keep them. And actually, yeah, you can tell he printed these in separate. So he said that they don't break.
Gosh.
And there's the other piece. But yeah, so you can see it's really neat. Like we've worked really hard to work on the infill to make sure that they're nice and strong. And here it is. Here's one of our super big 25 millimeter hooks with that inline. Oh, there we go. Yeah. And this is the size. So it's really, they're much shorter, which is great. There's no reason to have that extra length on these, I don't think. And then you can see the way that the hook is designed.
I'm looking at the glitter.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that's one of our lovely glitter ones.
Nellie and I are like so distracted. We're like, oh, pretty.
Yeah. This was one of our favorites. So we did the summer drink specials, is what we called them.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm trying to remember. I think I called this one like a mint julep or something. I don't know. I made a fancy name because it has like a little bit of purple on the end. And it was like something with a hint of lavender or something. I don't remember, but I tried to get creative. We had like Bahama Mama and
I love that
Tropical Sunrise or something like that. So that was fun. It was fun getting to kind of try to make them themed.
Well, can you show that crosshatch that you were showing before?
Yes.
With the non-broken one that created.
Yes. So this is top and bottom. And let's see. Oop, there we go. Wow. I don't know if it'll actually focus on it.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see the pattern. I know how hard it is to get a camera to focus.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you want it to.
Right?
Yeah, right? Yeah, I don't know if it'll actually let me. And I think maybe it's because my face is there. Let's see if I can if I can put my fingers up there, but it doesn't want to. But you can see that it's like a cross-hatched kind of thing.
It looks like a basket weave.
Yeah.
It does.
But we've worked on that, and it actually, when we upgraded, so our first 2 printers are more on the introductory side, so they weren't as expensive, but they're more of Matt says that the old printers are like a 95 Honda Civic. If you know how to work on it, it'll last forever, and you can do anything with it, but it might be temperamental. And the new printer is more like a Mercedes. So it's much more top of the line. It's still fairly easy to work on if if you're techie. But the precision is there, so things are printed much more precisely. We can do a much more intricate infill that the other printers would have to actually slow down to handle, because that gyroid infill, it like shakes the printer. And so it would actually cause us to lose hooks because the hooks would fall over. Whereas the new printer, we're almost at a 0% loss rate for these hooks, which is
Wow,
awesome because
that's
we
great.
don't want to
Yeah,
waste
that's great.
Of
hooks.
course.
And we can use the ones that failed because we'll try different resin coatings and we can use them just to try out different techniques, but we don't want to waste, as little as we can. We try not to waste.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Hey, Ginger, can we come back on the screen?
Yeah.
I get it.
It's the Pink Sheep Show.
I was just thinking she's probably starting to feel a bit self-conscious. I would be.
Yeah, you have to be prompted.
Hey, guys, I hope you can't hear, but my neighbors decided that now is a good time to get the chainsaw out. So I keep muting it, but hopefully you can't hear the chainsaw too much.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Okay, so this is Evelyn's new website.
Shiny new website.
Shiny new
Shiny,
website.
bright and shiny, brand spanking new website.
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was exciting to finally, after 5 years of having a free WordPress blog, to just suck it up and buy a domain and, make a real big girl website.
She's got a grown-up website now.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's exciting. Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is me. Okay, so on this one, I was looking at her Etsy, and I thought this was going to be tomorrow, but it was actually today. So the Sunday is not right, but the June 19th is.
And I didn't even realize that. Thanks for pointing that out now.
Sorry.
Well, we were looking at it. We were looking at it before you came, before you met us on the call, and I said, "Well, is it Sunday or is it today?" Because it says Sunday, but today's June 19th, and so we weren't sure.
Well, and it's interesting because
we missed it.
Yeah, and the whole reason is because I had been doing them on Sundays previously, always.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I need to do it on Saturday this month, so that if there's a reason anyone hasn't been able to make it on a Sunday, I can offer it on a Saturday. So that's exactly why, because I updated the graphic and just updated the date.
This is the day part, but you guys, even though this happened today, she does. We talked about it. She does do this monthly, so she'll have another posting up with the new dates whenever she sets the date for next month.
Yeah.
So, but I think this is a great value. It's only $25 in her shop. It's 2 hours of teaching, and then you get her workbook, which is a $15 value in and of itself. So, it's for those of you that are struggling with creating patterns and stuff like that, which I know even now I still struggle with it some. Has more to do with time sometimes, but this seems like it would be a great one, and she's got a lot of experience in pattern creating. So,
oh, and if you guys have not seen any of Evelyn's patterns, they are absolutely amazing. They're like a little book, and the thing that I really love about them is they're fun, they're easy to understand, and at the end she includes pictures of all of her testers wearing her patterns,
I love that.
or their what they've made, and it shows what it's like on every body type, because your patterns are size inclusive, right?
They're getting there. Yes.
But the sizes are like from teeny tiny to larger sizes, and I just love that because there's pear-shaped bodies, there's apple-shaped bodies too, and what might be a large pattern on an apple body is not going to look the same as a pear body. So I love that you have those pictures and the measurements.
Yes. That started with the Granger cardigan. That was where I decided, because I had people asking about measurements. And this is something that has been a huge part of me growing as a designer and learning what the resources are that'll make it easier for me to make patterns not only more inclusive, but easier for people to know what the sizes will actually fit like. I realized that Craft Yarn Council existed after this long. And that allowed me to make sure that my sizes were standard, and that I actually had a goal for each size of where it should fall within like the chest measurement and the waist measurement. So that has helped me tremendously with standardizing my sizing. But with the Granger cardigan, I realized, okay, I've got a really great group of testers that take really great photos who don't mind me sharing photos of them. And I asked them, do you mind if I share your measurements? And so now, starting with the Granger, at the very end of each pattern, there is like a sizing guide where I have a photo of the tester wearing the item. I actually now have their Instagram handle included. I think that was the pattern after the Granger, where someone actually asked me, can you share my Instagram handle? And for me, originally, I wanted it to be like, I didn't want to encroach on their privacy. So like, I'm already sharing their measurements and all of that, but they said, no, we love it. So now it also includes their Instagram handle so people can go follow them. But it has them wearing the item, and it has their measurements, and then it has any adjustments they made. So if someone added a little bit of length, I don't want someone to think, oh, that's how it's going to fit me, and then they don't add the length. So I try to include that if they did make any adjustments.
Yeah.
And then for patterns where I encourage people to get creative, like the overalls, where I tell people you can add pockets, you can do this, you can add length to your to the pants, you can add a drawstring.
Ginger added length.
Yes. So I added a page that shows how each tester got creative. So I have a photo of someone who lengthened the pants. I have a photo of someone who added a drawstring. I have photos from people who added pockets or added patches. And to me, that's more of that encouragement of like, I want you to be creative, and I want you to think outside the box, and I want you to make this pattern your own. And so as I've grown as a crochet designer, I've realized that that's how I want my patterns to be different, as I want them to be fun. I want my personality to come out. I don't want it to be cut and dry. And the measurement part has just become amazing. Like that has been one of the coolest things. And, getting to showcase, like you said, the items not only on different bodies, but people can match up their measurements and say, oh, I actually do have her measurements, so this really is how this is going to look on me. Has been one of the coolest things that I've been able to add to my patterns.
Well, that attention to detail is amazing. That's a wonderful thing. We do have a couple questions from the Peanut Gallery. Lori Armstrong says, do you have a color scheme called Hotlanta? I would love to see how you interpret that word in color.
No, but I could think about it.
So there's a thought, right? There's a thought. Linda says, I bought a couple patterns, a vest and a sweater. So, all right, way to go.
Can't wait to see pictures.
Lori says, some people have apple bodies, some have pear bodies, and some have banana hammock bodies.
That's a reference to Ginger's.
I know it is. Oh, my goodness.
Yes. Oh, my God.
I think there was a full moon yesterday. The ladies were all like Atlanta ladies. Oh, my goodness.
That's funny.
I was on 2 different chats, only for like 5 minutes each, and both of them, they were like cougars out of control. I was like, what the heck is going on?
It was
one of them, they were talking about male wrestlers like The Rock and his cousin, and I was like, oh my gosh, these girls are, they need to go to a Chippendale show or something. I don't know what was going on. Then I went over to Ginger's, and they were banana hammock conversations, and I was like, I need to get back to work now.
There's your sign.
It was because Lori was sitting on the beach, and she saw a man walk by in a string Speedo. Yeah, and that just started it.
Downhill from there.
From there.
And then Oreo came on, and we're like, all right, people, we got to clean this up. Which Oreo is Jamie, Jamie is the naughty Canuck. Oreo is Jamie's daughter.
I love her. I love her.
Such a sweet.
I'm sorry. I linked this. I think I forgot the link. Oh shoot! But it's in her Etsy shop. She has all these stickers. Now I picked out the crochet stickers, and one of the fun things I liked this black and white one that says hooked. But she also offers one that has white skin and one that has.
Oh, I love that! It's on that cozy.
I see that. I love that. But she has one with white skin and one, white peach skin, and then one with brown skin, and then she has this black and white one. So I really, really love that. And then of course, me being now
cat lover,
cats.
That is so you, Mel. That one is totally Melania.
Oh,
Melanie.
It's got my name
Melanie.
all over it. Coffee, crochet, and cats. That is my life. So
Totally.
I know
So cute.
Coffee's in here, but coffee, crochet, and cats.
Yeah, and this was all thanks to COVID. Like this was 100%. As soon as the pandemic hit, I picked up a new hobby of trying to do some designs, which just blew up. It was really fun, and I got to do something totally different, and using Procreate. So I just used the Procreate iPad app to make
That's
these.
so
We bought a
Oh,
Apple Pencil.
Okay.
So it's been really cool.
Well, you do an amazing job, and these are just some of them.
Mhm.
There's a full page of options that you have to choose from, so you need to definitely go check that out in her Etsy shop.
I'm
And there
going to
are
get in trouble on your Etsy shop.
definitely are some geared more towards naughty hookers.
Yes.
Yes,
So
So Lori can check that out.
What was it? There's something about counting where I'm crocheting an F off or something like that. When I loved it, but it just doesn't work for YouTube. Not our rating anyway.
Right.
yeah, that
right.
was my most recent Instagram photos were not family friendly, but
Yeah,
you know.
but they're awesome.
They
I
are.
love them.
I think
They are.
Michelle maybe bought one of those because she says everyone loves my new shirt. So I don't know what her new shirt
Probably.
looks like.
Yeah, there's
Michelle, snap a pic and pop it in the Facebook group so we can
Yeah.
see.
We
Yes.
must see.
Yeah, and that's one of them because I have my apparel, but this is one of the. There we go. So it's got like the hearts, but they're
Oh yeah.
the candy hearts, and this one's called Love Language because it's double crochet, single crochet, half
I
double
love
crochet.
that.
So it's all the. So that was my Valentine's Day
Cute.
graphic from this year. So super fun.
So cool.
Oh, Michelle says Lori needs her new shirt.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
It's the F off one.
Yeah.
Well, I got a big truck driving.
Okay, and we've talked a lot about her printed hooks, which are amazing. But this is such a cool tool for people who hate to check gauge.
Yeah.
Just use that and check your gauge. That's so awesome. Now, I was looking
What's
at
a gauge?
it looks primarily with 4x4 inches. No, it should work
Yes.
all sizes, right?
So it's 4x4. We didn't do the actual ruler part of the gauge because all of that we have to do by hand. And so that is super tedious to try to add those in there and make sure that they're super correct. So the reason I went by 4x4, it's kind of the same reason that my hooks don't go lower than a 10 millimeter is because I work primarily with chunky yarn. All of my gauge swatches are going to be a 4x4. So it made more sense to me to stick with that. But we are trying to do more things. So there might be a potential for us to do like a 2x2 that doesn't have the spots on the sides for the hook measuring. So it would just be a little swatch kind of tool, but we're always brainstorming new ideas. But for now, I figure this is totally on brand for me being the 4x4 gauge. And the measurements for 10 millimeter through 25 millimeter for the hooks on the sides.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I have one that I got from my local yarn shop that's wooden, and it's but it's like so small because knitting stitches they're so they're so small. So yeah, I love the big ones. So very cool. Very cool.
All right, and then I wanted to make sure that you could connect with Evelyn however you prefer to connect. So her Linktree posts all of her new projects and stuff like that, and I think she updates that pretty regularly. And then, of course, there's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Crazy thought I wouldn't include YouTube. Pinterest and Etsy. So go definitely check her out. These will be available in the.
I think we lost Mel.
Yeah.
It's usually me. I'm usually the one that gets kicked off. But I think what she was saying is no go find Evelyn. How about now go find Evelyn?
Go.
At Pink Sheep Design. So I don't know what happened to Mel. Usually when this happens to Mel, it's because her cat unplugged.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, sorry, Evelyn, you get to see that Facebook challenge entry. But every week we have a Facebook monthly challenge, and this month's theme is babies. So our Facebook members can enter pictures of something that they created with the theme, and then we have a drawing at the end of the month. So Kathy Ann made an entire set.
Ooh.
That's so cute.
That
So very
is
good,
cute.
Kathy Ann. And we just have a few this week. Leilita made these. She made a blanket on the right there, and then the little baby lovey. So nice job, Leilita.
Melanie just texted me that her power went out.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So the modem went poo.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was a little worried about that today.
Yeah. It happens. It's kind of cloudy here, and it's getting kind of dark. I might have to turn on my porch
She
light.
says it's back on, but she needs to let it cycle back on. So she'll be back on in a minute or two.
Oh, good. So this one is by Lori. And how can Lori make something so pretty and innocent looking and then get all X-rated in our chat? What is up with that, Lori?
With the banana hammocks.
I know, but that's really beautiful. So
That is
good job,
beautiful.
Lori. So we didn't have a lot this week. Not a lot of people making this week. So get out there, guys. Come on. We need more stuff for that challenge. We've only got a week left.
Make some of the kitty cat cozies.
Yeah.
Well, it's baby themed.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's baby.
You could make them for the baby bottle.
Yes, and actually, I had one of my testers said that their daughter stole it to put it on her sippy cup.
That is
That
so
is
cool.
a great idea. That's a great idea for the baby bottle. So next week we're going to be at Melanie's. Jeez, Ginger.
Wow.
Trying to read that.
I'm sorry. We will be at Hook to the Left, and we are talking about traveling with your crochet projects.
Yeah, so next week we're talking about travel and crochet, which is perfect for me because I'm getting ready to go on vacation.
That's exciting.
I'm so excited. It's been so long since we've been allowed to go anywhere and do anything. And I'm super excited that we're maskless now because we're going to Florida in July. So the thought of a mask, I was like, no, I don't want to wear a mask in July. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to go see some family.
I wanted to share because that was one I did not even think to send you guys the link. But along with my website, the new website that I have now, Bonfire, which is who I use for all of my apparel, who, if you guys haven't checked them out and you want to sell apparel, amazing. Like, they make it so easy. You don't have to pay anything. Like, it's just super, super simple. But I joined their Bonfire X program, which is like kind of their new influencer platform, which they actually build you a website instead of it being like the regular back end of Bonfire.
Oh, wow.
But if you go to my website, there is a link in the main bar that says, I think it either says Maker Apparel or Shop Maker Apparel. Oh. That's where all of my apparel is. So none of that's on Etsy. So if any of the designs and stickers that anyone sees on Etsy, all of those are available on apparel. It's just not in my Etsy shop. So you do have to go to a separate place. But I have tank tops now, which is exciting for summer.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of cool things and water bottles and mugs that are all new now. So that's been fun. But that is something that I try to share with everyone that I can, because you can even create designs on Bonfire. So like they have a kind of a builder for you where like if you just wanted to use simple text or simple graphics, and then you can sell them on there and you just get paid at the end, and it's no minimum. You know, people can just purchase straight through there, and then they'll either pay you through PayPal or through a check. So it has been really cool, like just taking on that whole other side of things and getting to get creative, even if it's just your logo, you know?
Yeah.
I've already done it. I've already made it a couple of days ago, and I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And their customer service is great because they handle that. So if there's an issue with a t-shirt, I've had a couple of customers come to me because maybe the print was off or it faded really bad the first time they washed it. And all they have to do is request a replacement. Bonfire's like, you don't even have to return it. like keep it, donate it, upcycle
Wow.
it, and we'll send you a new one. So
Wow.
it has
So they
been,
handle that all for you.
Yes. They
See,
handle
that was
literally
one reason
everything.
why I was scared of apparel, because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, probably of any merchandise, apparel is
Yep.
going to be the one that there's the most returns for sizes and all that. So
Yep.
that's
They
great
handle
to
all
know.
of it. And they're
That's
a
great.
fairly small team. So I try to tell people sometimes it takes a minute for them to get back to you. It might take a day or two, but they are there and they will take care of it. So, and I can follow up on people's behalf if I need to, if they're having issues. But
Welcome back, Mel.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Sorry about that, you guys. It was funny. I thought it was still on. I'm like, oh, my power went out, and it flashed right back on. I forget that my motor has to cycle back up.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, we missed you.
Aw,
We missed you so
Yeah.
much. And Ginger wouldn't let me read. She kicked me off. She wouldn't let me read the last page.
Oh,
She just wanted to steal the thunder, as
I'm
always.
I'm a bad actor.
She sure is.
Kicked you out the page. She walks away, leaves you alone.
Oh, he's something. She's a naughty hooker.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, speaking of, Evelyn, have you seen Julie's Naughty Hooker shorts?
Oh,
From
I have to
on-
do a new naughty hooker. I've had people
I
asking,
don't
and
think
I can't
so.
think of any
They're so
ideas.
funny. They're like,
It's like me yelling at my other me,
yeah, yeah.
the responsible me, and the naughty hooker.
Yeah, the Naughty Hooker wants to crochet all the time.
Yeah.
And the other one says, "No, you have to go to work," kind of
But
thing.
they're funny.
Sadly. Yeah.
TikTok characters, and you have the naughty hooker, and you have responsible Julie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
It's
it's so
very
much
funny.
fun.
Definitely check it
Thank
out.
you. Thanks, girls. You're sweet.
Mhm.
Mandy is asking, what is the challenge this month? So I'm assuming you're talking about the Facebook challenge.
It's babies.
Babies!
You
Babies!
have to make one.
Babies. Speaking
It's a real
of,
challenge.
I was so inspired by all Evelyn's stuff. I made a baby. Is it Dobby or Dobby?
Yeah. Dobby.
Dobby.
Dobby,
A
Ginger,
baby
come
Dobby
on.
sweater for my new granddaughter, and I've got an
It's so
Instagram
cute.
picture of it.
It's so
It's
cute.
still a little big for her,
Just a
but
little.
I can lay it across her. And then I made another one that was kind of based on that anniversary cardigan, anniversary Karen Kate cardigan, except I made it big, thick, chunky, and gave it like a fur around
love
the
that, yeah.
sleeves and everything. And it's so cute. I've got a picture of that on Instagram too. But I've been inspired to make big chunky baby things.
Mhm. I mean,
You
I'm
know,
all
if you
for
just
big
take
chunky
things off
anything.
of that,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
just take the word "things" off of that sentence, inspired to make big chunky babies.
Yes,
Willie was a big chunky baby.
there you go. And then,
He
then you were like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's the very
Enough
last.
is enough. Enough is enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, so the guy next door is done. He's done with his chainsaw. Now he's got a big campfire going.
Oh, there you go. That's funny.
He better invite me over for drinks.
That's funny.
Marshmallows.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's funny. You know how you said you need to make babies, right? Instead of baby stuff, you said, well, Mandy replied to that, well, my husband did just come home from deployment.
There we go, Mandy.
Crocheted babies.
Yeah, I'm a garumi. I'm a garumi.
Mhm.
Real babies are better.
They are. They're so squishable. Not squishable, but you know,
But
huggable.
they are a lot of work.
I just have one. I can't even imagine how many you brought up.
Too many.
Too many. I lost count at 7.
You're
Yeah.
like, there's more out there, maybe. I don't know.
That's funny.
Ah, Jinx, you owe me a Coke, Ginger. So, do you guys have any other questions for Evelyn?
No, I was just the ones that I went through all the ones in my slide, so I actually was finished with that one last slide with the link. So
Okay. So I have one more question for Evelyn, and that is, where or when do you find yourself getting like your best ideas? Like, is there a special time or place where you get your best ideas? Like today you said you were cooking dinner and you just got this idea of the hooks. So is there like something that a place where you go that like inspires you to get really great ideas, or do they just pop to you randomly in the shower?
So I think there has been, it's like proven that showers make you think about good ideas. So that happens. But a lot of it for me is, it is just spending time on places like Instagram, usually Instagram, because I feel like Pinterest for me, I'm on there, but I don't use it like I used to.
Mm-hmm.
But with Instagram, I use their bookmark feature, and I just love going through and finding inspiration, especially color inspiration, because like I said before, that's never been a natural thing for me. So I love getting inspired by other people's color schemes, the way that they've mixed colors, especially people who use super bright colors together a lot. That gives me ideas for how I could utilize that color scheme to create something different. I love finding styles that I want to recreate in chunky styles. The whole reason that the very first Fru cardigan that I created was my Luna. And the whole reason I wanted to create it is because I've always loved Wool and the Gang and We Are Knitters.
Oh, yeah.
That style of like that chunky, oversized knitwear.
Yeah.
But I realized looking at their patterns and their pattern kits that all of the super chunky, oversized, cozy items were always knit. The crochet items were always summery, lacy, lightweight items. And I was like, but I want that, not this. You know?
Yeah, right.
So I kind of made it my goal to recreate that look and that feel of that oversized, chunky, quick, fast, immediate gratification kind of item, but for crocheters instead of knitters, because they already had all of these wonderful, cool, crazy, cozy, chunky, oversized items. Yeah. And so that became my goal. And that's what led to the Luna and then the Trelawney and like all of these, just oversized, chunky cardigans. And it's kind of my goal of like, okay, well, how can I recreate some of these styles and some of these looks that are maybe meant to be more summery too as a crocheter? That's why my next pattern that's in testing right now is a summer tee, kind of like a tank tee kind of thing. It's got the wide, broad shoulders, so it's more of like a t-shirt. You could add length to the sleeves.
Right.
But it's actually using 2 strands of size 5 cotton. So it's actually bulky cotton. So it's technically a size 6. But it's a summer tee because it's cotton,
Right.
And people could technically use more strands of even a lighter weight, and it'd be more of a lacy feel if they want it to be. But it sticks with my brand because it is a chunky item. I use a 14 millimeter hook, which I know is not Craft Yarn Council approved because that is not technically a millimeter, but I am seeking to change that because there are like 3 options for a 5 millimeter. It's like 5 and a 5.25 and a 5.5, and there's like a 3.25 and a 3.5 and a 3.75. So I feel like chunky yarn lovers should have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Like we should have all those options because when you start having these larger projects and you can't match gauge with a 16 millimeter hook, you have to drop all the way to like a 12. That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense, yes.
So that's why I was like, okay, I know these aren't technically on the list, but I used a 14 for my summer top. I crochet very tightly. So the good news is most people that were in my test group had to use either a 12 or even a 10 to match my gauge. So I just try to make sure that I have my gauge on like my Etsy listing too, so that people can see it before they actually purchase and they know if they need to buy a different hook. But that's really, I'm just inspired by lots of things. I love the community, on Instagram, and I love seeing what everyone else is doing. And I like getting to, so one of my latest blogs was a pattern roundup for summer crop tops.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw
And
that. Yeah.
it was
I
so
did
much fun getting to go through, and like, of course I'm going to include some of mine, but getting to go through and include all these other amazing designers. And again, going back to that community, and then I can get inspired by their designs and create something that is not so similar that I can't put them right next to each other and say, you should buy both of these, because they're both different and special in their own way. They might be similar in the
They're a crop top,
basic shapes, like the
Right.
basic shapes, because there's a lot. The one that I'm doing now is literally 2 panels that you sew up the front and back. And I've seen a lot of that this year. A lot of people who've done that kind of the 2 panels, and
Yeah,
then
I've
it
seen
flows
that
really
too.
nice.
Mhm.
But they'll use really intricate stitching, and like mine is super basic. It's half double crochet. I love half double crochet. And so I love getting to create these super basic, bulky versions of items that then, if you like the shape, you can go buy this person's pattern and do a very intricate version, and something that's very lacy and very luxury like, you know.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just fun being able to, I mean, not everybody can design the patterns. So just knowing that there are options, so many options
Yeah.
Yes.
of patterns and things like that. I love it.
Yep. And I know a lot of people want to do both. You know, I've always wanted crochet for me to be very meditative, to a point where I don't have to worry about counting every single stitch of every row to make sure that a design is perfect. And so for me, the chunky, bulky, super simple patterns are for me. That's what I love doing. But I know there's a lot of people who love the challenge of doing something that's very intricate. And so I love, even if I can't offer it, I'll say, well, you know, mine can just be your break. So take a break for a weekend and make one of my cardigans, and then go back to your item that's going to take you 6 months to finish. So mine are kind of that little instant gratification break time, you know, if you want to throw together your first cardigan or something like that. So that's been really cool.
That, your chunky designs are also, there are also summer. I mean, usually you think whenever it's chunky, you're going to be making blankets or winter clothes, winter sweaters. But, you know, you can make a pair of overall shorts.
Right.
Or a bumper. Yeah.
So I have a question, because I'm full of them. Sorry, guys, I monopolized the conversation.
We love it, Julie.
But Ginger and Mel both know that I never really did anything with chunky weight yarn until we did actually a theme. What was it, for the love of chunky? Was that our theme that one time?
Something like that, yeah.
But that was like the first time I ever used it, but I really haven't used it since. So all of you, like, what would you recommend for someone like who never uses the bulky weight? If I wanted to do one of Evelyn's cardigans, like, what yarn would you recommend for this newbie to chunky weight yarn?
If you need a 5-weight and you're putting a couple 5-weights together, you know what I'm going to tell you. You know my favorite 5-weight.
Charisma. You love charisma.
Love me some charisma.
You have a lot of charisma, baby.
I think I put 3, what was it? Lion Brand Heartland together. I think now that I look back, I probably should have put 4 of the Heartland, because it seems a little smaller.
That shrug that I made, that was Heartland. That chocolate with a different colored flecks in it, that was Heartland.
Okay.
So I'm working on a blog post that has some of my favorite. I need to break it down. I need to do like a size 6 and a size 5. And I'm thinking of actually doing it as size 6 cotton, size 5 cotton, size 6 acrylic, because there are so many. There are a lot out there.
Yeah.
My favorites right now that I've been working with, Hobby just sent me their ribbon yarn. So this is a size 5, and so I'm holding them together to make a bag, and I'll show you guys
cool.
So it's going to be a big old tote bag, but this is like the.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Bag.
Now Ginger would put that on her head.
Well, because that's
how big it is.
That's how you tell how big it is.
I mean.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
See? She's just like
a little turtle shell. But yes, so this is 2 strands of size 5, and I'm using a 12 millimeter hook for this. And the other hobby yarn that I've fallen in head over heels in love with is their Bungee Mini. So their Bungee Mini yarn is a size 6. It's great for bags. My Mariner crossbody bag used Hobby Bungee Mini. It is just like Bernat Home Deck, but double. So the Home Deck yarn that's a size 5. It's a size 6 version of Home Deck. It's very squishy. It's got like the outer thing that's filled, like it's got a fill in there. So it's almost like squishy shoestrings.
Yeah.
Whereas their ribbon yarn is like not squishy shoestrings. It's just like the outside of the shoestring. And so there's those. The yarn that I always tell beginners to start with, if they're just learning to crochet, I have always said to grab a chunky hook, like grab a size 15 hook and some chunky yarn. I usually tell them to start with either Woolies Thick and Quick, because it's just so easy to work with. Like it's easy, you know, versus like the blanket yarn. A lot of people go for that because they feel like they get so much more for their money, but I just don't feel like it's very easy to work with for beginners.
It's has a lot of drag on it.
Yes. Yeah. And so I will either tell them to use that, or if they're looking for something a little bit more budget friendly than Woolies Thick and Quick, or if they can't use wool, I will tell them to try Hometown USA, which is also the Lion brand. But that's because you can find it at Walmart. You can find it a lot of different places. It's like $3 a skein. So the Hometown USA is the other one that I'll recommend, since it is also a size 6. I also really love Karen chunky cakes, but they lie. They say that they're a 6. It is totally a 5. So you're going to have to hold it together if you want it to be a size 6. So I'd get more of them, but I really do like it. It's soft, easy to work with. And then one of the other favorites that I have is the Mandala Thick and Quick by Lion Brand, because the colors are so fun. If you've seen pictures of my Tonks hoodie, the all purple one with just like the pink strip, that is Karen Cakes held double and Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick on the front. But then there's one that's like a purple and a blue and green all mixed together. That's my other Tonks hoodie. That is the Mandala. That's the and my overalls. The overalls pattern that I did that is red. The red overalls is Mandala Thick and Quick. So that's a 6 that I love, and that's 100% acrylic.
Okay.
So there's lots of options.
Wow, that's a long list.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and watch the replay and write them all down. Willie.
But that's why I need to do a blog post. I need to start doing, that's one of my goals for my YouTube channel, is to start just kind of, even if it's not like a full-on review, just sharing some of my favorite yarns.
Definitely.
For projects, because there is so much out there. And it is true if you don't like to use bulky. If you look at my romper pattern, that calls for 3 strands of worsted weight yarn, but you could also use bulkier yarn if you want to. You know, you'll just need to look at your gauge. But I use 3 strands of just Lily sugar and cream cotton.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even I think for even those of us who have been doing this for a long time, it still gets overwhelming. You know what I mean? It's like, that looks so good, but I'll pick the wrong yarn and it'll look stupid.
Well, and I'm learning so much from my testers. I actually started, along with the sizing charts, I've started trying to include a recommended yarn page where I actually share what yarn my testers used.
Oh, good.
So that's a great starting point.
Yeah.
For them to know what they can try and
what it's going to look like. And
yes. Because there is so much, and that's why I said I've been working on a blog post about yarn for like 4 months because I still haven't figured out exactly how to break it down, because there's so much out there, and then I have to make sure it's not discontinued, because that happens all the time thanks to Lion Brand. So I have to, I'm working on that.
Yeah. Oh, I do have another question. And I think I asked you this last time. But for those of us who love Tunisian crochet, is the 4th 3D printer going to be bigger?
Possibly. Yeah. So we'll have to.
That was the first thing I asked when I saw your hooks. I was like, does she make them in Tunisian?
We'd buy them all.
We would.
Yeah, so it'll have to be on the potential list.
Well, that's what I loved about watching your video was I finally was like being able to see how you make these. I was like, oh my gosh, they would have to get a huge printer.
Well, and it would probably be set differently. So that's the main reason that these have a cone base is because they had to sit up.
Yeah.
So we needed a way for them to not fall over. We tried a couple of times. We tried printing them like on their side like this when they didn't have a base. So it was just like a regular hook that kind of came to a point. But the way that it created the layers was kind of funky and it was difficult to figure out how to get that smooth. And this just ended up working, once we got the supports down, because it has to create little supports to actually print the hook, and for, the supports would fall out. And I mean, it was a long process to actually get it to a point where we weren't losing half the hooks we were printing.
You said earlier before we got on the live that you actually on your Instagrams, what is it called? The highlights.
Yes.
She has that whole the story of that. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, go check out her Instagram.
Yeah, there's a highlight reel it's just called Hooks. And so if you click on that highlight reel, it starts off with the very first hook we ever printed. Or the very first one that we printed that we designed. It starts with that one. And then it goes through the process. You can see the evolution of the design and what it used to look like and what we almost released. And I'm so glad we didn't, because the necks were super, super skinny. That would not have been fun. So yeah, it took some time. And I actually use Tinkercad, which is free. So it's a free online design software where you can play around with creating different designs. And that's what I use right now to design the hooks. So
cool.
I've got to tell you, on the YouTube video, the second DIY challenge update, when Captain Hook was like pressing on that hook,
doesn't it just gives me like hives to see him trying to break the hooks. I tell him not to do that in front of me. Yeah, he'll try to break them. He'll put his thing on and push it down, and I'm like, and I think one broke. I think he did end up breaking that one in the video. Yeah. But we do it to make sure. Yeah, I mean, because I told him, I was like, honey, nobody stress tests their hooks like that. But he wants to be sure that they're not going to be easy to break. We don't want them to snap while someone's working with them.
Well, and you also have to think about your mailing these too.
That's true. That's true.
That's another reason why the weight is probably beneficial for you.
It's been wonderful. Yeah, that helps a lot. And we have actually only had 2 hooks since all of these that we've sold. We've had 2 break. And one of them was actually, it fell off of a table, and I think it just hit the ground at the right angle. We're still not really even sure. But we replaced it. We want these to be, we want the customer service to be there. We want people to want to come back. We want them to buy more hooks and to actually feel like it's an investment and that it's worth it. And so we stand behind them. If something goes wrong, we're going to make it right. If there's an issue with the hook. The other one, we think it was more of the filament. It was actually a special filament that we used. It was a custom order. And we think that the filament was actually more brittle than the other filament that we've used. Because we feel like it shouldn't have happened. Because I even asked her, I was like, can you let me know what you're working on, what yarn you were using? Since I crochet, that helps me know, was it a difficult yarn to work with? And she did say that it was really tight tension, but she also holds her hooks like I do, which is a lot higher up. I think a lot of people who hold their hooks way down here, there is more pressure on your hook. It's a different, place where the leverage is. But she holds them up high, and we were like, it has to be the filament. So we sent her a new one in a different filament, and we're going to see how that goes. So she's going to, I said, don't change anything. Like, go ahead and try it, because I don't want people to have to be careful.
Stuff,
But we have continued to kind of beef up the infill in the hooks to make sure that there's, that they have that strength, especially the smaller sizes. That's why we were concerned with going much smaller. We started off with just 16 millimeter hooks. Before we started expanding.
Ginger, I was thinking regarding the Tunisian, you were talking about Tunisian, but you could also maybe adapt them so that they could have the cable.
I thought the same thing. That would be because right now,
or
we have the
even
hole.
have two that could screw together to expand the
yeah,
length.
like two different pieces.
Yeah, and then like maybe connect them so that they could.
And that's actually one of the things that the captain is thinking about. He's been wanting so badly to try it at some point is having an interchangeable set that screws together. It's
idea.
just getting the dimensions right, because you have to design all of that in software. There's no easy way to like, let me just stick a screw in there. You actually have to design it and get. And
gotta go to CAD class.
That's what he's doing. Yep. So that's what he's been working on, is taking classes on all of that software to get more and more and more familiar with it and be able to do more cool things. Because we would love to make other things, other tools. And I want to make little needle holders and like just fun things, And
I do too.
We had talked for a long time when we first started making these. We wanted to be able to have this like open and store things inside the hook.
Would be so cool.
There's just a lot of things, or make the bottom magnetic so you can like stick your needle on the bottom of the hook or something. I don't know. There's so many ideas.
Or magnetic, and then you can like for storing them or placing them on something. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
so there's lots of ideas.
It's a good thing I'm not there because I would drive you crazy. You could do this, you could do that.
And don't worry. So Captain Hook now has lots of people following his Instagram account, and they are more than willing to give him ideas. He said, all these crocheters have all these ideas they're wanting me to try, and they just need to try it.
I'm sitting there looking at my petunias, and I'm like, oh, she could make the bottom like a flower shape.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It can be like green at the top and then purple at the bottom.
Is Captain
Captain Hook's like, tell her to shut up.
Yes. So he is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, is his IG handle Captain Hook or is it?
It's not. So can I'm allowed to share your handle, right, honey? Can I get you some more followers? Well, and you can find it on mine too, but
as long as they don't give me brilliant ideas.
He said as long as you don't give me any brilliant ideas. So see, yes. He said we're full up. But yes, so you can find the captain at Will Print 4 credits.
Oh, okay.
So that's at Will Print 4 credits. And that's if you want to see the behind the scenes of 3D printing. It's definitely worth a follow because it's super interesting. He shares a lot of behind the scenes about, you'll see some of the train wrecks that happen when, 3D printing goes wrong because, it's not easy. I mean, it's one of those where you can't just buy a 3D printer and it makes whatever you want. There's a lot of, making sure that all the settings are correct and making sure that the bed is level and all of these things that go into it, where if one thing's off, you have a pile of spaghetti on your bed instead of a finished hook.
Yeah.
And so he shares a lot of that process and that progress and new tools. He goes live, with the printers going. So it's really interesting if you like that side of things and you like the techie side. It's worth a follow. So,
cool. Yeah,
and he's funny.
I just find it interesting. Yeah.
Really
cool.
Yeah. Oh, Lita asks if you will make yarn bowls.
So we actually tried. I don't have it in here, but we played around with it. The issue with printing 3D yarn bowls is they are filament hogs. They use how many hooks worth of filament, honey?
Yeah, I bet they do.
Between 8 and 10 hooks to make a bowl. And so our hooks usually run about $45.
Yeah, your bowls are going to be a lot.
And so not only that, but the bowls need to be heavy. As you guys know, you don't want it flying around the table. So you'd want the infill to be substantial. So you've got some weight. And you need it to be smooth. So the problem is when you get done with these printed items, they're not super smooth. So you'll have to sand them. And when you sand them, you mar the surface. So it's not going to be as pretty. So that's why we resin coat our hooks too, because we could sand them all day long to make them super smooth, but then you're not going to get that beautiful color that comes out when you resin coat them. So for us to make a bowl that takes 10 hooks worth of filament, hand sand it, and resin coat a bowl, that would be a really expensive yarn bowl.
Yeah,
that's
you
why.
wouldn't sell a lot of those. Yeah.
So we're still considering it because the biggest issue that I have is I have one yarn bowl that is big enough to use my chunky yarn, and that's one that my grandmother found at one of her shops, and it's this one. So these are two
That's
things
amazing.
of yeah. So it's a huge bowl, but it's wonderful because I can fit my chunky yarn in here, and it actually stays there. So if we could figure out how to print a bowl this size, it might be worth it because there's not much out there like it. So it would fit a niche, and it would be a great investment for someone who uses bulky yarn. But we would also need a bigger printer. Oh, here we go. He brought me one. Yeah, sure. So this is the one that we tried printing.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a cute little yarn bowl.
Cute little expensive yarn bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was one that we found that was a design that we found on was on Thingiverse. But it actually has a screw-on bottom, and the point of that was to add weight. So you could actually fill the bottom with like sand or something weighted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could screw that back on. But here you have to, so the dimensions weren't quite perfect. So the screw on isn't the greatest either. So yeah, so we would have to, so he said we printed it on the 95 Honda Civic. So the printer that doesn't have quite as much of the dimensional accuracy. So if we printed this on the new one, this would probably go on there better. But again, the inside, we'd have to do some work to make sure it's not going to snag your yarn. So it's on the plate. We're, still considering what our options might be and what we might be able to do. But yeah, this is 10 hooks.
Yeah.
For the little one,
Wow. Yeah.
And a lot of time. I mean, our hooks take around about 4 hours for a single hook, just in print time.
Wow.
So that bowl was 2 days, a couple of days. Yeah, about 2 days to print. So you have to leave it overnight running. So it's
So it's a filament eater, a time eater, an everything eater.
Yep. But and that goes back to that whole idea, like, I know we print our hooks, but there's so much else that goes on behind the scenes. And I think that's why it's so easy for us to, we still consider everything we make to be handmade. We designed everything ourselves.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
We take care of the printers and make sure that everything's running smoothly. We buy replacement parts and all of that fun
stuff. The printer is just the tool. It's,
Yes.
Yep.
You could put that printer in any one of our 3 houses and it would collect dust.
Sit there and get dust. Yep.
Yeah.
I can't even figure out how to get my printer to work.
Right. But I mean, it's been a really interesting journey with the printers for sure. And I have a feeling we'll be buying a new one pretty soon, just so that we can. He's like, I want to make stuff for me. Oh, I'll show you guys. This is really cool. He made this. This was one of the first things he made for himself. But this holds all of his brushes.
I love it.
Oh, I love that.
That would be an amazing thing to make for crochet hooks.
Yes, that
It would be perfect for crochet hooks.
Yeah. They just said this would be perfect for crochet hooks.
Or knitting needles.
Yeah,
Either one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You could use that for knitting needles or crochet hooks.
He said this. He said this.
I don't
He said that would be perfect.
I get
make $1 million.
I keep my crochet hooks in a pencil case from the dollar store, but
it makes it pretty.
But it would be a beautiful gift item.
I would totally get one of those if you guys started making them.
And she would give it to me.
We'll think about that.
I
didn't even think about that. But again, all my hooks are chunky, so those are perfect if you have a huge collection of smaller crochet hooks. It'd be beautiful.
But you could make those in bigger holes.
Crochet bouquet. Yeah.
Well,
and there's
See, now you can make the bottom like a flower and the great big holes, and then you have a bouquet.
He said no.
There you go. Yes, he said no ideas. Exactly. He's like, this is why I don't want everybody following me, giving me all these ideas.
I'll be quiet. This is what the 3 of us do. We just like, we could do this or we could do that. And
everyone appreciates you.
very much.
Very much.
Go show the
Very-
captain some love. He's the whole reason we have these hooks.
Okay.
Mhm.
I already
Yes,
called
and
them. I just got to
Our
check
next next hooks are unicorn and mermaid glitter.
Oh, oh.
I want
And
a
by the way,
flamingo. I
yeah,
want a
so
flamingo.
we haven't announced this yet, but there might be. First of all, there's going to be a surprise. Captain's going to go live after the deadline if the hook cuts off. But I do know that there is going to be some kind of very special discount on our next big hook release of the unicorns and mermaids moving forward for our DIY hook challenge entrance. So if you're getting the hook and you do like it and you're thinking about buying one of our actual finished hooks, we are going to be doing something special for our entrance as a thank you for entering and wanting to be part of our challenge. So we'll be sending that out in an email once that
wow.
deadline cuts off. So
That is
that'll be
so
fun.
exciting.
I love it.
I can't
We're
wait.
excited.
I love to talk to people who have these big ideas and are inspiring to listen to. And so I'm so glad that you joined us tonight.
No, I appreciate it so
Yeah,
much.
I think
It's so
that
fun.
you gave that to all of us tonight. It was a pleasure meeting you.
And I even I saw in there, I can't remember who put it. I think it was Lisa, but she had a special thank you for inspiring her as well.
Oh, thank you.
So it's
and
amazing.
I just love getting to connect with everyone. And please know, I'm for anyone who's listening, and for you guys, of course, too. I don't ever want to be one of those people who is too busy to have conversations, who's too busy to answer my messages or my comments. My first and foremost goal is connections and relationships. And, that's my goal. I want to help people. If you don't ever be afraid to ask me questions. I'm more than happy to help.
She's gonna
obviously
fight her words later. She's gonna be like, "Oh, why did I say that to that Julie girl? She went me alone."
And I do tell people if it gets specific, I do one-on-one calls. I do have a price for one-on-one calls where I hop on a call for you for an hour. We can talk about patterns. We can talk about social media, like all the things that I do have a lot of information to share. I can do a one-on-one session with people. Because I do that with social media consulting. If there's a small business who has a lot of questions, I say, let's just hop on a call. We can do it whenever is good for you. But for the small questions, just reach out. I have no problem sharing what I've learned and the knowledge I have. But if it's I want to know how to set up an Etsy shop, well, let's get on a call because that's a lot.
That's work related. Yeah,
that is a lot.
Yeah.
And that's great. And the thing is that I don't know how much you charge per an hour, but learning to do that by yourself would take so much longer.
And you can ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I did my pattern workshop, because there's a lot out there. There are classes you can take that are pre-recorded. There's blog posts, there's YouTube videos, but if you want the opportunity to talk one-on-one and connect with other people and ask questions, then
I have to move off the porch a little bit.
But that's why I did it, because that's what I think is missing. Some of those live opportunities to interact one-on-one, to get your questions answered. I think that's really important, especially for things like writing your first pattern, which can feel so daunting,
Yeah.
Speaking of questions, there's a couple of questions here. There's a Melanie Lewis. Melanie, love the name.
Of course.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad I found your channel. Right now, I'm taking a break. Just made 12 washcloths for Wishes for Wings. Do you guys think that's enough for a donation? What do you think? I think if you sent one, it would be an amazing donation.
Yeah.
The fact that you put time in making even one washcloth to give away for that, amazing.
Yep.
And then Wanda was saying, what about flat crochet hooks? Can you expand on that a little bit, Wanda?
I think is she talking about those what are they called? I know you're talking.
I know that Knitter's Pride waves are flat.
They're like an old. There are vintage hooks like this. I know that Kim from Affordably Crafty has some of those flat hooks. And I forget what they're called. There's a special name for them, but
It would be possible for us. That would be a possibility. We would just have to design the item. So we'd have to actually design it in software and figure out if it is right. Because I've never used them. So like at least with these hooks, I know, I can use them and make sure that they're workable and functional. So I would have to do some research to make sure that we make them right. But it'd be possible for sure with the printer.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So cool.
All right. Did you guys see any other questions?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's getting to be we're past the 2-hour mark.
Yes, we are.
But
this was a great episode. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
guys for having me. I
love
appreciate it.
I've
Love
got
it.
to say, Evelyn, ever since I first saw your Instagram, you've totally inspired me on your website, on everything, on the crocheting.
Thanks.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys. I mean, I couldn't do it without everyone who's done this, who's invited me to talk to them, who's brought me into their communities. And it means so much. I mean, I'm so appreciative of you guys. Thank you. And I can't wait to keep maybe working with you guys and, doing other things. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'd be awesome.
So exciting.
Fantastic.
You got your hands in so many pies that there's going to be another episode that we need your expertise on. So
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Now whoops. Okay. Are you guys ready for some music?
We're ready for some music, and thank you everybody in the chat who came, and can't wait to see you next time. Next time we will be at Melanie's. Yep, and we're going to talk about the traveling
with crochet. So.
Pants?
maybe depends on your pattern. All righty.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I got to press the right button.
Love Ginger.